I see myself as a perspective bringer, a bringer of perspective. Perspective is the way we see things. And I believe the right perspective allows us to thrive on this planet. And the wrong perspective can take us in some shadowy places. Like the wrong perspective, going through life, seeing things as going to hell, the world even. Then that is exactly what we'll see, what we'll hear, and perhaps what we even might unconsciously create in our own relationships. What if you are a creator of realities? Wouldn't it be much better to create a perspective, taking in all the ugliness, but a perspective to see things as a part of a larger process of evolution, moving toward its highest good, and looking at things to find the healthy possibilities. This is certainly a time of uncertainty. Many of us are adopting dystopian beliefs that can harm the future. So I'm asking you today to think about your perspective, to perhaps reframe some of the negative beliefs, transmuting that energy into something positive. And that's what this song, What a Wonderful World, is all about, seeing the world again with fresh eyes. And Louis Armstrong, when he added this to his album, I'm sure, I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure he knew what the world was in his time. And yet he could still say, what a wonderful world. I like to think about life when it doesn't feel so good. I like to think about the miracles, the everyday miracles, like childbirth, and all the things that could go wrong in that process. And yet, here you are. Here we are, each one of us a miracle. Oh, yeah. And this thinking, as life is a miracle, can bring us joy. I said this a few weeks ago, joy is greater than fleeting happiness. Joy is a state of mind built upon by gratitude. Joy, as the reading indicated, is not found. Joy is made by the choices we make each day. So this is our last week on the theme of joy. You remember in the beginning of the month, I said, oh, great, I don't want to do this. But now, by the end of the month, I'm kind of sad it's ending. So I'm going to leave you with some perspective from two books to show us that joy can be found even in difficult times if we live intentionally each day. You heard the Wonder Box story that Sarah shared. Her story is an adaptation on a best-selling book back in the late 90s, Who Moved My Cheese? By Dr. Spencer Johnson. He was a physician and also a personal development author. And as you could tell from the book, it's a simple parable that can be applied in business, in your personal life, in all of life. Change, as you know, brings uncertainty. It's like a maze. And change can be unnerving. That's right. We reach a place of comfort. It all seems to be going well, and then things shift suddenly. That's the cheese. That's the cheese, the lifestyle we have, the job or the relationship. Whatever it is, everything seemed to be fine, and now everything is quite inconvenient. Now it's harder to access to. It's harder to hold on to. And of course, it makes us angry. It frustrates us. What is going on? Why me? But she's asking you to ask yourself, what now? Because why me zaps your joy. It zaps your peace of mind and contentment. But the story reminds us that we always have choices. We may not like them, but we have them. We can stay where we are and complain about our situation when the cheese has moved, or we can adapt, lean into courage, enter that maze of curiosity, try something different. And that's what Charles Darwin said, studying species. That's not the strongest that survives, it's the most adaptable. Be more adaptable. And so the question becomes, how do I stay flexible and adaptable, lucid, malleable? How do I remember that change alone is unchanging? Well, that takes me to the second book and the title of the sermon, The Joy Diet by Martha Beck, who has written several best-selling books about living intentionally, and I appreciate her style. Her books are short, and she's to the point. In The Joy Diet, she lays out 10 practices for a healthier or happier life, one building upon the next, providing a way to stay flexible, liberal, in the truest sense of the word, and vital. I won't go over all 10, but I do want to focus on just a few. The first thing Beck says is do nothing. That's right. When change comes, start by doing nothing, which is very un-American. But take 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes a day, sit in meditation, in contemplation, sit quietly, pray. Put your no vacancy sign out, she says. No room available. It sounds simple. But for many with busy lives, those of us with small children, it's a challenge. And for some of us, sitting in silence is a little bit scary. Doing nothing feels uncomfortable. You know, there's a sound in silence. Is there a sound in silence? I asked my wife, I was like, do you hear the sound in silence? Because I've been losing my hearing, so I'm not sure what is going on, right? I'm asking you guys, is there a sound in silence? I'm losing my mind. Okay, fine. That's fine. I think there is, okay? Anyway, you all mentioned, we mentioned that Justin is retiring. We're so happy for him, and he's doing the right thing. He's going from a very busy job that took up a lot of his time, and he's going on a 10-day silent retreat next week. I know. Isn't that great? Good luck. And I'm only kidding just a little. The task of sitting still, even though he'll be able to move around, or even sitting in silence is not as easy as it sounds. But there is a power there. Some call it the 0 point. Going into the void. Makes me think of the hymn, find the stillness, hold the stillness, let the stillness carry me. Let the stillness carry me. There's a mental reset that happens when you, in effect, become nobody. Something alive awakens in you. And while you're doing nothing, a second thing happens. you begin having internal conversations. And Beck says, now is the time to be truthful with yourself. Truth, she says. When something rises inside, speak to your spirit and ask, what really hurts? What is this joy I'm feeling? Why am I feeling uneasy? Everything's fine. What's going on? What is this fear arising? What is that about? What is this discomfort trying to teach me? And I don't journal, but she says, journal if you want. But put the focus on what is true, not what is convenient. And when deception sneaks in, and it will, as it did with the Buddha and Jesus. You remember Buddha under the Bodhi tree, Jesus in the garden, in the wilderness? The deception will come and tell you you're not good enough, and to play with your mind and bring up all these past things that are unsettled, and you could let it pass by. But it's there as a teacher. You could also say, go away. I got it covered right now. Come back at another time. I'm good. But remember, the truth has a resonance, a vibration, a feeling that's different. And you will come to know it, what is true for your soul. You'll be able to recognize that it is authentically you. You know, Beck says we like to bury our pains like a prairie dog. We hide our hurts, hoping they'll stay underground. But if we dare to name them, even out loud, we don't break down. We break open. Our time of truth-telling leads to breakthroughs, not breakdowns. It leads to, yes, some hurtful moments, but also many more hallelujah moments. It helps us to eject the shame. It lightens that heavy load. And eventually, it opens up the next thing she talks about, creativity. Once you embrace the silence and the truth-telling, your creativity is unleashed. Now you're ready to think even more broadly. Now that thing that escaped you comes to you with little effort. Now you can begin to ask, what do I want from my life and from my relationships and for my community? There's this theological term we got in seminary, creatio ex nihilo, creation out of nothing. And that is that the universe, or in this case God, spoke things into existence from nothing. The universe was birthed from the void. Love it. From silence and stillness, life exploded into being. And so do you. From the void of silence, you awaken to new truths to explore. And then your creativity is unleashed, and your next beautiful chapter can be born. But if you never rest, if you never reflect, you'll miss it. And you know, I think about our current president and a lot of the leaders right now, and I know that they don't have this practice. Sending out social media posts at 2 a.m. is not something someone does if they are a reflective person. He does not pause. He never does nothing. And because of that, nothing innovative or thoughtful comes from him. It takes wisdom to know that, like the universe itself, we must rest, reflect, and contemplate. The Hindus say that God was a void of nothingness, Brahma, and Brahma awakened, and all of the possibilities as an exhale, and then Brahma will inhale, and then Brahma will rest. And if there is some truth to that, then we too must rest and reflect. Otherwise, we're just like a computer. Our minds and bodies and spirits start getting buggy, glitchy. They freeze. They crash. Sometimes I tell Joni, hey, I'm going to reset my brain. And she knows exactly what that means. I'm going to go outside and sit quietly, or I'm going to go take a nap. And you know something? When I wake up from that nap 6 hours later, no, I'm kidding. No, I don't know how long my naps are. But when I wake up, I find that the mean-spiritedness that I had when I was going toward that nap, or the crankiness, is gone. I am completely restored to my best self, and the ideas and the things and the emails that I was looking at, that I was getting tired of looking at, all of a sudden I can answer them in minutes. And you know, you think about that, like your computer. You're working on your computer, right? And it starts freezing because it's tired, it's hot, the fan can't keep up with the output. And you just sit there and you don't know what to do, so, you know, you're not a tech guru, so you just turn it off. Yeah, you just turn it off. That's exactly right. And you count 20 seconds, and you turn it back on. Or you have to wait for it to cool down. I mean, we created the computer in our image. And if the computer has to rest, we have to rest to be our best selves. So, after that, after you've rested and reflected, Martha Beck says, treat yourself. That's right, reward yourself after a breakthrough, like a Pavlov dog. Not as an indulgence, but as an affirmation, because small victories need celebrating. Something creative has been unleashed. You have new ideas. You're excited and happy about it. Treat yourself. And then she says, go play. You know, be playful and maybe even a little mischievous. I added that. I also add, be mischievous, but don't be creepy. Play is a right brain experience that grounds and recharges us. And she says, if you're playing well and you're treating yourself, the creative juices are flowing, you're doing nothing, you're doing all this stuff, then laugh. Laugh 30 times a day. I don't know if you have to carry your Buddhist beads around the count. I'm on laugh 25. No, but laugh. Laugh out loud. Come on, laugh with me. Oh, that's enough. Laugh. Live, laugh, love. Or what are those signs you buy? Live, laugh, love. And then Martha Beck says that after you've done all those things, of course, laughing by yourself is fine. You can do that watching Snapchat, Instagram videos. There's some that are really funny with the cats, and I love the pet stuff. Then she says, but laugh with a community of people or persons that you appreciate. Be in a community like this one. And some of you know about the blue zones, the blue zone countries, these places around the globe where people live well into their 90s and 100s, and it's not just the way they eat, it's their lifestyle. They laugh and they have strong community bonds. So she says, get involved in a community. You need connection. You need to feel plugged in. You know, your phone, as Justin showed us with the piano, your phone will die and you'll need to recharge it. And so that's what coming into a community does. It helps you recharge your batteries, gives you a sense of purpose when that purpose feels like it's dead. You charge it back with community. The Joy Diet is not about restricting your intake. It's about enriching your life. I looked up the word diet. It's a Greek word, dieta. It means a way of living or a lifestyle. And so her suggestions are not about food, but about fuel for your soul. And so, my friends, I want to take this from the individual and apply it to the collective, back to thinking about our country. And I want to say today that here in America, the cheese has moved. The systems many trusted are shifting. The demographics are shifting. The technology is reshaping everything. And even truth itself is under assault. And so the question is, will we cling to the old, smelly, moldy, I know you can cut off the mold, but moldy cheese? That's the bitterness and the anger that the controls you once had aren't there. Or will we adapt courageously, creatively, joyfully? I'm talking about making this adaptation because it is necessary for the sake of our democracy. We have to do things differently. The cheese has moved. We are living through a sacred rebirth. That's my reframe. An end is a beginning is an end. Western civilization is on the decline. That's a good thing, because it needs to be rebirthed into new possibilities where all are truly created equal. And so we are beginning something new, and we are called right here, right now, born for this time to be resilient, to be change makers, to bring a new kind of creativity, a new kind of connectedness, a new kind of shared community to this planet. And so when the cheese moves, move with it. When your life feels chaotic, find the stillness and hold the stillness and let the stillness carry you. When fear rises, tell yourself the deeper truth that when despair darkens the mind, find ways to think creatively and play and laugh and work your way back to the light of love. Because joy is not something we stumble upon. Joy is made. Joy is built by our bravery, by our love, by our choices, one at a time. So I want you to go out and build joy and live the Joy Diet. Be adaptable, be resilient, be free, and together we will build a wonderful world. Amen.